Welcome to Mind Renovation Nation, the show that equips, challenges, and empowers small multifamily investors to think differently, act boldly, and grow strategically. Brought to you by Red Maples, a real estate performance advisory service for small multifamily investors. This show is hosted by Nathan Bush, a seasoned property manager, leadership coach, and creator of the Caesar Method. Each episode dives deep into lessons from real-world experience, conversations with trusted mentors, and the proven strategies Nathan has used to build and manage successful real estate ventures. Today's episode is all about what's on Nathan's mind: raw, relevant, and real. If you're tuning in live, don't forget to drop your questions in the comments. Nathan will tackle as many as time allows. Subscribe now on YouTube for more actionable insights, and visit nathanbushmba.com for free resources to help grow your real estate business. It's time to renovate your thinking and elevate your results.
Do you know why character matters more in leasing than it does in any other aspect of property management and real estate investing? Today, I'm going to share with you my understanding of why character matters more in your leasing process than in anywhere else in your business. I have put together an entire training, if you will, throughout this entire presentation to help you better understand and help you better and better serve your real estate portfolio. All right, today's show, why character matters. Have you guys ever thought about the concept of character? I mean, truly, have you ever taken time to just put some effort and thought into character? What is character? Why does character matter? Is character even an important part of your daily regimen and routine? Well, to understand that, we have to understand a couple of different things about character. First, we have to understand what character is. Then we have to understand how we apply character to our leasing process. And by the end of this presentation today, by the end of this conversation, if you think character matters in your leasing process and you need help with an organization that applies these character principles to their leasing process, I'll show you exactly and tell you the next steps you can take in order to work with an organization to be able to help you with character in your leasing process. All right. So let's talk about character. Character is something that matters. Okay. I once heard it said that you're either a person of character or you're a person of compromise. Let me show you exactly what I mean by a person of character or a person of compromise. And hopefully by the end of this conversation today, you'll be able to definitely understand the difference. What is character? First of all, I went to Webster and I found the definition of character just to help us out and to frame this whole show around an understanding of what is character. It's one of the attributes or features that make up and distinguish an individual. Character makes up and distinguishes an individual. Character is what separates one thing from another. It's all separated around the character. Character in leasing is equivalent to having integrity, consistency, and service-driven systems. Let me show you how this works, all right? I have on the screen here a picture. On the left-hand side, you'll see a gentleman. Maybe this is you, the real estate investor, and you have a future goal, okay? That future goal is like a little bit above where you're at, right? We don't want to set goals so far that we can never reach them. So we want to set goals that help us to be able to know that we have a place that we're going. And so on the right-hand side of the screen, what you see here is a real estate investor's future state, their goal, where they want to be as a person. Growth from where you are to where you want to be only happens around character. See, growth, if you veer from character, you have what's called compromise. Compromise is what you see in the valley there. Compromise doesn't get you from point A to point B. It doesn't get you on the growth path. It takes you off the growth path. And every time you compromise your character, what ends up happening is you fall. You fall from the growth that you're already gaining and getting. So one path that the leasing agent, the property manager, the investor that you're walking on is going to fork. And it's going to fork into compromise or it's going to fork into character. Every time you choose compromise, it keeps you from moving towards your goal of growth. And so character is when you have integrity. Character is when you can't be corrupted, you can't be bribed, you can't be coerced. You can't be you don't fall into fear, you don't pull back, right? This is a lack of character. The same is true for neglect. Neglect is the same thing. Neglect is compromise. Neglect is temptation. Neglect is fear. When you neglect something, you're ultimately pulling yourself from the growth that you can have inside of your business. Think about it. What happens if you neglect your relationship for too long with your significant other? Do you get growth in the relationship? No. No, you don't. What happens if you neglect your house for a period of time? Does your house get nicer? No. Same thing with your dreams, guys. Same thing with the goals that you have in real estate. Same thing that you have in the leasing process in the system within your business. If you neglect something, you lack character. If you compromise in your leasing process, you lack character and you fall from the growth that you're trying to have. So not only do you need to understand that with growth, there is goals that you have to have, and there's a gap that you're trying to close, but you got to have a guide. That's the other thing. How would you ever see that path to growth if the guy with the lantern wasn't there to light up and show you where the stairs were? Yeah, you might still fall. But there's somebody there guiding the way, taking you step by step through the process so that you can achieve the growth goals that you have for yourself. Now I'm going to bring that picture back up on the screen. Guys that are listening that aren't watching live, this might be a little difficult for you to be able to see, but I'm going to bring back up on the screen the information. I'm going to try to walk you through or talk you through what I'm trying to accomplish here on the screen. So I'm going to hop right down here on my handy dandy thing. And I want to get out the drawing tool. So bear with me as I get out the pen. Okay. And I'm going to draw on the growth card here so that you can see, look, the guy on the left-hand side, there's a cliff. The guy on the right-hand side, that's the goal that we're trying to achieve. And so I want to put this on the screen again. Sorry, guys. It's taking me just a second while we're watching live or watching on replay. Let me see if I can get there. I'm trying to drag my mouse to a specific spot. Let's see if I can do it here. There we go. All right, so here's you. We'll call this the one duplex that you currently have right now, right? You own those two duplexes. That's great. You get the little door here. Maybe they have a flat roof. You're inside the one duplex doing some work. You guys see that? Here is the starting point. That is where you're at. Now watch this, guys. I want to have an entire nation of property, right? The growth point. The only way, put a little door on each one of those, right? The only way to get to, and on the right-hand side over the second cliff, I drew a bunch of different rental property. Maybe it's a large multifamily, right? So on the left-hand side of the screen, there is a cliff, and on the edge of that cliff is your two duplexes. And on the right-hand side of the screen, just a little bit higher on a secondary cliff with a big gap in between, there is your multifamily property that you're trying to get to. Okay? Across that gap, there is a path to get there. That path is character. The problem is that large multifamily that you're trying to get to, that path is in the dark. So we got to have a guide to light the path for the gap so that we can walk across on character and not compromise our values. That's what I'm hoping that this show is for you today, guys, is that it is a light in a dark place that helps you get from where you're at, the two duplexes, to the large multifamily that you're trying to buy. Now, here's the challenge. Every time you compromise your character, you compromise on character, you fall off of this path. And I don't know how far you fall. There's clouds down there. It's a place that's covered. I don't know how far that fall goes. Okay? So every single time I walk you through what I'm about to walk you through, that you don't follow the process, that you do your own thing, that you go out on your own way, or you compromise in a specific area and you're not as detailed in your systems as what I'm sharing with you, there's going to be trouble. All right, so here's some common mistakes before we even get into the whole conversation about what to do. Let's learn about some common mistakes. Number one, let's look at the failure to market the properties effectively. If you lack high quality photos, a virtual tour, or prompt responses to inquiry, you're going to have a problem. There's something in the market right now called speed to lead. We'll talk about that. There's something right now in the market that's going on that if you don't get to your responses quick enough, those leads are gone and they're gone forever and they're on to the next property. Same thing with virtual tours. If you don't give somebody the ability to watch a video or showcase a virtual experience on walking through that home, you're going to miss out on thousands of leads that could be there. And the quality of your photos matters. I'm going to show you some pictures. I'm going to show you something in just a second. It's going to blow your mind. Inadequate tenant screening processes leading to tenant turnover. Look, if you compromise on your photos, you compromise on the virtual tour, you compromise on the responses to the tenant, this is a problem. This is a problem. You have got to have character in what you do through your leasing process. So don't compromise on the photos. Don't compromise on the virtual tour. Don't compromise on quick responses. Don't compromise on your tenant screening process. Okay? Because what happens? Every time we compromise, we fall into the hole and we don't know how deep that is. And then lastly, the last thing that I see common mistakes on is poor timing and scheduling of showing of the properties. I say don't compromise on making yourself available for the most part 24/7, 365 for a showing when the tenant has questions about what to do. Okay? Let me show you exactly what I mean. Just in the first phase here, the first mistakes that I see people making, the photos, the virtual tours, and not having prompt responses to people. Let me show you what that might look like for you. Here you go. Right? Up on the screen here, you'll see a photo of an apartment community. This is not one of our photos, by the way. This is not anything. This is not a property that we currently lease. It is not one of our properties, but I did happen to see this property online. And so I figured that it would be good for us to hop into Zillow and pull a photo for you so that you can see here. Let me share with you some what I call compromises that make this a problem for you in your leasing process that might result in high turnover. Number one, first problem here. Welcome to Coming, whatever the apartment community name is, I blacked it out. Welcome to Coming Available. Apartment name, Coming Available. Welcome to whatever. Marketplace Townhomes, Coming Available. Well, that doesn't tell people that they could move in right away. It doesn't tell somebody that the property is available to even tour or show it right away. This first thing in this listing is to repel somebody. By the way, this property is very near one of our other properties that we are leasing. I'm going to show you that one too as well. Okay. So right away, we're telling people the property may not be available. Secondly, we do accept Section 8 vouchers. Does that tell the world that you're trying to attract a high caliber, high quality tenant to the property? I'm not saying don't ever list out the fact that you will accept Section 8 on a property. I'm saying this is the very first two sentences is that it's coming available and that we're providing Section 8 property to you. If I'm a quality tenant, okay, I've got a great job. Maybe I'm starting a family. Who knows what their personal lives is? And it doesn't matter to me whether they have a family or not. I'm just saying, maybe I'm a great tenant. I'm just getting started out. I'm starting my family for the first time. Maybe I just got married. Maybe I didn't. It doesn't matter. But I'm progressing in the world. I'm getting better at life. And then I see this property listing that says, and we do accept Section 8 vouchers on the very first line of the property description. Is that a place that I want to take myself to build a life? Could be, but am I going to make that a priority if I'm growing and gaining and getting better and earning more money in my life? Probably not. Probably not. Okay. So let me continue on with this property listing because it gets better. Let's see here. All right. So this spacious apartment features an updated kitchen and bathroom, but it doesn't say what any of the updates are. I have no idea what that means to you. By the way, when I look at the photos of the kitchen, that does not look updated. That looks dark and dingy and small. Beautiful hardwood throughout, large windows that allow plenty of natural light. Does that matter? Really, honestly, at the end of the day, does the large windows that provide natural light really matter to anybody? Okay. Added security. Ooh, there you go. Let's tell everybody that the area is not nice and that you went ahead and added security to the property, right? The front door is equipped with a lock and a code. Why is that important to a tenant that's potentially wants to rent your property, is trying to make a better life for themselves, trying to move into your place, and then here you are, you're telling them that there's security, that they have a lock with a code. Come on, guys, we got to do better than this. One unit has its own code. The washers and dryers are available in the basement. That's key. Okay, so you have washers and dryers in the basement for your convenience. So I finally told them something of value that they can use. Tenants are charged $75 for a portion of the water, sewer, and trash, and also pays electric and gas. Then it says the tenant pays $125 towards water, sewer, trash. Which is it? If I'm reading this property description, am I renting this property? I have no idea. See, this is not integrity. This is not. This is compromise in just the listing alone. The way the listing is written, this is compromise. This is not character. Somebody with character neglected this listing. Okay. And if that's you, I'm sorry. Come talk to me. We'll rent your property. This is actually another management company's photo. I have it blacked out on the screen because I don't want to embarrass anybody. That wasn't my intention of this. The tenant is reliable. The tenant is reliable for gas and electric in the unit. Laundry hookups are available in the basement. Now, wait a minute. You told me earlier that I had an amenity of a washer and dryer. Now you're saying the hookups are available in the basement, and then you just remind me that this is low-income housing and how much you don't care. Come on, guys. This is not character. This is not character in your listing. This is not a Red Maples property. This is not the way to do this. Can I show you the difference? Would it be okay? Would you guys be interested in seeing the difference between a quality listing that Red Maples puts out and what this was? Let me show you the difference. Here you go. Now, it's a little small on my screen, so I'm going to try to blow it up. Hopefully, it's not as small on your screen. I'm going to pull away those online so that you guys can fully see everything that's online. I might have to come in here a little bit closer to my laptop. Give me 1 second here. All right. Welcome to your new home. Let's start there. We didn't neglect the fact that every single person who's reading this is a potential tenant that could be living in your rental property. Welcome to your new home. We didn't exclude anybody. We didn't tell them what kind of housing it was. We didn't try to attract a specific tenant. We made it open and available to everyone, where modern comfort and convenience awaits. Ooh, this tells me, just like the thesis of a paper, right? This tells me exactly what I'm going to find inside of this listing. I'm going to find inside of this listing comfort and convenience. At least I'm going to be looking for it now because you told me. The delightful 2-bedroom, 1-bath. There we go. I told them right away in the listing that it was a 2-bedroom, 1-bath. Residence offers a perfect blend of style and functionality. As you walk inside, you'll immediately notice the updated finishes that give this home a fresh, contemporary feel. The gleaming granite. Okay, there's a contemporary finish. I said that we did contemporary finishes, and I said the gleaming granite on the countertops. In the kitchen is not only visible but appealing, but also provides ample space for your culinary creations. Stainless steel appliances add a touch of elegance, making meal preparation a breeze. Stay comfort, stay comfortable year round in various rooms. Stay comfortable year round with the benefit of central air. Okay, so a lot of people want central air. Pleasant atmosphere in the season. You'll find ceiling fans throughout on the balcony, offering relaxed outdoor space where you can enjoy your morning coffee or take it the fresh air with both off-street and on-street parking, a full basement, perfect for storage, and a personal touch with unique space. Conveniently located near local amenities like shopping centers and entertainment. This property offers a lifestyle with ease and comfort. It's a perfect place to call home, and we invite you to schedule a tour. So there's a call to action, welcoming, for yourself. Don't let this opportunity make this beautiful, updated, and well-approved home for you. Contact us today. Another call to action to arrange a viewing and discover the perfect space for your needs. This home offers a standard 12-month lease. So I tell them the lease that they're going to be getting. The resident is responsible for all utilities, water and sewer and trash are billed back at a flat rate of $165. Very clear. Smoking is prohibited. So if you're a smoker, we don't want you into the building. It also tells you that there's not going to be other smokers in this building. Move-in monies required include a standard deposit of 1 month's rent. So I tell you what the deposit is, a one-time lease admin fee of $99, that there's an additional charge to move in, and any applicable deposits and pet rent. Standard credit and criminal background checks are performed on the property. We look for 3 times the rent, 5 times for guarantors. In addition to income requirements, we look for positive rental history and positive credit. Let me ask you, which property do you want to live in? These properties are right next door to each other. What property do you want to live in? If you had to pick, which one would you pick? See, guys, this is character. This is the difference. And while I didn't go into all of the photos in the other one, here's the virtual tour. You can see the little button where they can click to play it. You can see that these kitchens are well lit. These pictures are almost professionally done. Somebody on our team has good camera skills. And so we go in and make sure the rooms are well lit, that the photos are well taken, that the kitchens are featured, that we give you the benefit. Do you see the difference here? What I'm really trying to demonstrate is not how well we write property descriptions. It's irrelevant. What I'm trying to demonstrate to you is there's a difference between character and compromise. In fact, I don't know if you noticed this, but that other property, our property was renting for almost $295 more than the same property right next door. And so that's the difference in character. You've got to have great character if you're trying to achieve any level of results inside of the goals that you have for yourself. Now, I'm hoping that as a guide for you, that we're working through this and that you're gaining a better understanding of what character looks like in your leasing process. All right? Look, how do you explain how poor leasing disrupts cash flow? So I showed you the $200 difference, but let me show you those same negligent issues that we talked about earlier. Let me show you those negligent issues based upon what the research shows. Okay, so according to a study published by Harvard Business Review, firms that tried to contact potential customers within an hour of receiving an inquiry were up to 7 times as likely to qualify the lead as those that tried to contact the customer even an hour later. The odds of qualifying a lead decreased by over 6 times in the first hour. Companies with lead response times for within 1 minute were 391% more likely to convert the prospects, and lead conversion rates were 8 times greater if the team's contacted the inbound lead within 5 minutes. Okay? Here's the research. That's what backs it all up. So here's the problem. You got to start the conversation as early in the process as possible. Even waiting 5 minutes can compromise your character in leasing. Automated reminders are great. They do help. It gets back to the tenant right away. Our organization has plenty of built-in autoresponders and reminders and incentives that they can take to get started on leasing right away. But it's so critical that you get back to them. Even if it's an automated response, at least get back to the lead, guys, within a timely fashion. Our organization has somebody that does nothing but follow up with the leads. And so there is a financial impact each day the property remains vacant. And let me show you what happens on delayed response times here. So again, on the computer screen, which you guys that are listening on audio, I'll try to describe this for you because you can't see it. On the computer screen here, you see from left to right, you see on the left-hand side, the vertical axis. That vertical axis shows money, dollars. Here's an average of $500 in rent, $1,000 in rent, $1,500 in rent, $2,000 in rent. This is what happens with response times by essentially, we'll call this by days, okay? At day one, if you've delayed your lead and you didn't call that person, you've already lost $500 in rent. That's what this is showing you. Because if you responded to them quickly, you would be receiving that $500. Do you see that down here on the point? You'd be receiving that $500. The left-hand side is the amount of money that you're losing. The x-axis or the horizontal axis is the number of days from you not responding to a lead. And so this is just what the graph looks like, guys. If you don't respond to that lead for just 2 days, so the second day, right, you're already over $500 in lost rent. Now, let's say that you go out here to 3 days. You go out here to 3 days, you're at almost $1,000 in lost rent. And then every day after that, day 4, day 5, you're $1,500. And this is when the average rent on a property is $1,000. You got to respond to your leads quickly. The faster you respond to your leads, the more revenue you're going to generate. The less likely you are to lose revenue, which is what this graph is showing you. Lost revenue because you're not quick to respond to the lead that's interested in leasing from you. So there's 3 layers of leasing structure that help you to be able to do this. There's 3 layers you got to have. First, you got to have tech. You got to have the CRM tool, the scheduling software that allows you to be able to book people fast to the property. Tech is amazing. AI is amazing. You just got to be able to utilize it properly. There still has to be a human touch, but tech is critical. It's the first layer. The second layer that we've been talking about here is templates. For my team, I have built an entire inventory of templates on how to respond through the leasing process, the lease agreements, the communication templates. My business partner and I, we took plenty of time designing and developing these templates for our team so that they could respond quickly and accurately in the way that we would respond in a professional human way to the potential applicant. And then timing. Look, you got to explain the importance of timing in the leasing cycle like this. People are going to tour property when they're available, not when you're available. I was at a meetup group the other day and I overheard a conversation where somebody was saying, oh yeah, I only schedule tours on Thursdays at 3:30 and Fridays at 6 p.m. because that's when I'm available. And I make sure all of the tenants are booked into that time with me. Well, if you're forcing tenants to only tour the property when you're available, remember that speed is important. If they could tour the property the same day they want to see it, they're sitting outside your property, they saw it, they drove past it today, and they want a tour today, they should be able to book a tour in that property right now. And so the timing of when you're available to tour the property or when that property is available to be able to show, that's imperative. Remember the first property in the leasing description I showed you? That property is not even available. Yet they're trying to market it as coming soon, I guess, to potential Section 8 tenants. I'm not quite sure what that listing was. But what I know it's not is it's not character. And you got to have character in your leasing process and not compromise, because every time we compromise, guys, what happens? Yeah, you're right. You fall. Leasing is a process. It's a process and a system. We have to have great process and system to get specific results. If you don't have the system, you don't get the results. You want to know why our organization at Red Maples typically leases property within 15 days of the time it hits market? Because of the character of the way that we handle leasing. And when you do this correctly, let's say that I compromise on just the 3 times the rent. Let's say I decided, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to allow my character to be compromised, and this person makes 2.7 times the rent, not 3 times the rent. Then they move in and they can't afford to pay the rent because I compromised, because I needed somebody to live in my property. That person then ends up going through eviction, end up having a bad relationship with them. In fact, they end up destroying your property and tearing it all up inside and ripping up walls and punching holes in things, all because you compromised your character. And then you get mad at them. Behind on rent, damage costs go up, significant destruction in your property. Remember the picture that I showed you earlier? The one or that I drew of your duplex in the large apartment community that you're trying to get to, and you can never really save enough money off the current duplex that you have in order to be able to come up with the down payment for the large apartment community. Keep falling in the gap. That gap is a lack of character in your leasing. Thanks, guys.